Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let me hear some things that you remember when you say Shri Vrindavan Dham. What do you remember? Huh? Bihari ji, yes, Baki Bihari, yes, what else? Huh? You said lassi? By the way, I also like lassi there. Yes, what else? Okay, okay. What else? Nidhivan, yes. What else? अरे मेन एलिमेंट्स तो बोलिए. यमुना, yes, यमुना. और राधा कुंड, कदम का पेड़ यमुना के किनारे. गिरी गोवर्धन, yes, गिरी गोवर्धन. Tulsi one, okay. Vrinda Kund. So you see, we'll remember various different places in Sri Vrindavan as soon as we say Sri Vrindavan. So I thought today we'll focus on one place, and that is Sri Giriraj Govardhan, as Mataji remembered. One day what happened is, Nanda Maharaj and all the elderly Gopas, they all assembled at one place. Ekdam serious meeting chal raha tha. Very serious. They were all discussing. They were all planning. They were all having serious meeting, and when the discussion was going on, at that time our little Krishna goes there. He's just 7. He's just 7. He goes there and he's asking, Papa, what are you people discussing? What are you people discussing? And then he does fielding also. He says, see, when it comes to family members, you shouldn't hide things. You should reveal everything. Don't keep any secrets. Tell me, what are you people discussing? And then someone said, we are discussing about Indra Puja. So they would do, next day of Diwali, they would do something called Indra Puja in Vrindavan at that time, in Dwapar Yuga. And then when the discussion was going on, and Krishna said, Indra ki puja kyun karni hai? Why to do Indra Puja? And then Nanda Maharaj said, because Indra gives rains. So what is so great about he has to give it as his duty? And after discussing all that, then Krishna said, see, we are Gopas. Gopas means caretakers of cows. And cows will get grass, and then they'll be happy, they'll be satisfied. And who is giving grass? And then he showed it to Govardhan. He said, Govardhan is giving grass. He is giving all the green, nourishing grass to all our cows, and that's how all our cows are getting nourished. And then the Gopas said, so what? So we should worship Govardhan. Govardhan is that worshipping personality, we should worship him. Now they all said, see, we have to change the entire pratha. Can you imagine changing the entire pratha that they were practicing from many ages? And when all this was going on, so Krishna said, see, the cows will be very pleased if you worship Govardhan. Gopas are not that interested. The Brahmanas will be very pleased if you worship Govardhan. Okay. And then finally Krishna put the Brahmastra. I will be very pleased if you do Govardhan Puja. And all the Vrajawasis said, okay, then we will do it. Then we will do it. You know what? When it comes to Vrajawasis, you know what is the difference between us and Vrajawasis? For them, Krishna is everything. Krishna is the darling of Vrindavan. Mothers in Vrindavan, they had various kids. But anything that they would see around, so at that time, any bad omen, immediately they will think, Krishna ठीक तो है ना? Krishna को कुछ हुआ नहीं? अरे तुम्हारे भी तो बेटे और बेटियां हैं. You're not thinking about your own kids, you're thinking about Krishna. That's the difference between us and them. For us, something else is priority, but for Vrajawasis, Krishna is the priority. And as soon as Krishna said, I will be pleased if you do this puja, Govardhan puja, and they said, yes, we will do it. They said, pata nahi puja kaise karte hain? Krishna said, main batata hu, I'll tell you. 7-year-old boy. And then he started telling, zyada tension nahi lena, whatever you have arranged for Indra puja, just use all that for Govardhan puja. And guess what? There were huge mountains of rice with ghee. There were lakes of kheer. There were big laddus which were kept around. And so many different items we cannot imagine also. And Srimad Bhagavatam talks about all those different items which were kept. And the recipe is also discussed in the Vedic scriptures. Ki kaisa, kaun sa item banaya gaya tha. And then Govardhan manifested in front of all of them. So who is Govardhan? Krishna himself. So Krishna is standing here, and then the huge personality manifested. And the Vrajawasis, they are saying, Are theek se dekho? He's looking like Krishna, no? Our Krishna. Look at his eyes. And they're seeing Govardhan, looking at Krishna. Seeing Govardhan, looking at Krishna. And then Krishna says, forget about all that. Worship Govardhan. Everyone, pay obeisance to Govardhan. So we sab dandavat kiye. And then he asked, pray to Govardhan that please accept our offerings. And at that time, whatever offerings was kept in front of all of them, Govardhan accepted all of that. And accepting all that offering, everything was over now. There was nothing remaining even in the houses or anywhere in Vrindavan. After eating all that, you know what Govardhan says? Aniyor, 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 which is very close to English. Give me more, give me more, give me more. And Vrajawasis are looking at Krishna. Krishna, we gave everything, whatever we had. What we are supposed to do now is not yet satisfied. Krishna said, give one tulsi to him, he will be happy. And then they offered tulsi and Govardhan was very happy. And then they did the first parikrama of Sri Govardhan. Everyone keeping all the cows in front. There were some people, abhi auto rickshaw to nahi the wo time pe. But there were bullock carts, they were sitting in the bullock carts, and there were people walking, and that's how they did the huge Govardhan parikrama. Everyone was very happy. Everyone was dressed very amazingly. The best of the best dress was on the body. Very costly ornaments were there. All the females were dressed very beautifully. With various flowers in the hair and all the makeup, etc., etc. I think you all can make it much better. You all can understand it much better. And all the men were also dressed very nicely. They had all put tilak. And when everyone was happy, they forgot, kuch to pratha toda gaya hai. Something they have missed. And Indra got to know that these Vrajawasis, hearing a small child, just 7-year-old, have stopped my puja. So at that time he called the Samvartaka clouds. Speciality of Samvartaka clouds is they are invoked only during Pralaya, the complete annihilation. And they inundate the entire universe with water. They were called, and Indra directed them saying, go and inundate the entire Vrindavan. And they all went there. All the clouds. Rain started. Not like our Bangalore rains. Thoda and then band. On. And description says, rains were like huge pillars. Constant pillars. Huge storms around. Thunders. And Indra personally was throwing thunderbolt also. And guess what? At that time, what Vrajawasis did? Happy occasion. And suddenly it turned into something else. Very dangerous, very critical. People are not able to look at each other because everywhere dust and storm. And all the cows are crying out because they're all stuck in between and it's all raining. People are not able to see pillars. Pillars in front. And at that time, you know what Vrindavanvasis did? They all called out to Krishna. Please repeat everyone. Krishna, Krishna, Mahabhaga. Tvanatham Gokulam Prabho. Tratum Arhasi Devanaha. Kupitat Bhakta Vatsala. Immediately, one thing that they did was, Krishna, Krishna, please help. Krishna, Krishna, Mahabhaga, oh fortunate Krishna, please help us. Tratum Arhasi Devanam, please protect us from this great misery that has come now. Kupitad, that Deva who is angry, Kupita. And say Krishna, he is Devta. Now how can I save you? Bhakta Vatsala, you can do anything for your devotees, oh Krishna. Come on. This is a very, very important thing. An important lesson for all of us. The first and foremost, very, very important lesson is this. See, when we are having a very happy occasion going on, and suddenly something happens, the entire smile changes into cries or tears. So now at that time, whose shelter are we taking? This is the question that we have to ask. And we will see, the shelter that we take is of those things that we are attached to. And nowadays people are attached to themselves. I love myself. And people have the status also, I love myself, I love me. So we normally take shelter of our own talents, our own expertise, and whatever we have apart from that. Then we take shelter of those people around whom we are attached to, and we think that yes, they will give me shelter. They will give me shelter. And one thing that happens in this world is, all the things and all the people in this world, I'm sure all of you are much experienced than me, they're temporary. Things are temporary. People, their mood, their attitude, temporary. And when we don't get shelter, either from those things or from those people, we get disappointed. Utterly disappointed. And again, next time when there is some critical situation, we don't learn lessons from the past. Again, we depend on some things, our own talents, again some people around. And again the same thing, because what to this world's status is that which is given in Bhagavad Gita. Ashashvatam, anityam, these are the two words used by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Temporary. Temporary. And therefore it's a very, very important thing that we understand. Everyone in this world is temporary, things of this world are temporary. But since we have that urge to take the shelter of something permanent, there should be a permanent shelter for sure. Like for example, when we have urge of thirst, what quenches our thirst? Lemon juice, Coca-Cola, soft drinks, hot drinks. Nothing. Only one word as all of you are saying, water. That's the only thing. You see, we have thirst and there is an equivalent element that will quench our thirst. And then when we are hungry, that urge of hunger is satisfied automatically when we eat food. Similarly, when all of us, we have that urge of having a permanent shelter, there should be a permanent shelter for sure. And here, Vrajawasis know who is the permanent shelter. Let's take a tangent and go to Kurukshetra. When the battlefield was arranged and the entire setup was ready, Kauravas ready, Pandavas ready, everything is set, consuls are blown, Arjuna gets a desire. And he tells Krishna, Senayor ubhayor madhye ratham sthapayame achyuta. Hey Achyuta, hey Krishna, take my chariot between the two armies. Yavadeta niriksheham yodhukaman avastitan. I want to see who all have come to fight with me. And there Arjuna is using a special name of Krishna, and that name is Achyuta. Achyuta means that person who will never fall from his position. That person who will never change in his attitude, in his mood. He's unchangeable. And he'll never come down from his position of being all merciful. He is Krishna. He is that Achyuta. He is that permanent shelter. And when this permanent shelter is taken, so what happens? I will be blissful, come on. The problem is when we don't take permanent shelter, all the problem comes. But when we have permanent shelter, then everything is set. And here we see that what did Vrajawasis do when they were in critical situation? They didn't think, oh, let me go inside the house, let me get umbrella, let me do this, let me do that. Oh, Pati Dev, aap kahan hai? Bacche kahan hai? Nothing. Immediately they called out, Krishna, Krishna Mahabhaga. Oh, Krishna, please protect us. They took shelter of Krishna. So this is a very, very important point. Now someone might say, critical situation will take shelter, but let me tell you one thing. If every day we have a practice of taking shelter of the Lord, then in the critical situation, there is some hope that will take shelter of the Lord. Aise nahi hota. It's not something that will just happen like that. Just imagine our life is going like this, it's all smooth, and suddenly there's a spike. And the spike comes, we'll be doing only those things which we did when our life was like this. Yes, it was smooth. So when the spike comes, we'll do the same thing what we did when our life was smooth. And here we understand very easily that whatever we do every day, that's what we'll be doing when the spike is there in our life. And what is that shelter all about? Shelter is Krishna. Vrajawasis are showing us such a great calamity in their life and they called out for Krishna. Now the question comes, how to take shelter of Krishna? Follow footsteps of Vrajawasis, they are topmost devotees. They said, Krishna, Krishna. What did they say?
Krishna, Krishna.
ऐसे तो नहीं बोले थे, मरे हुए तो नहीं बोले। Krishna, Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna.
They all call out for Krishna. And that's what we do. In the age of Kali, the shelter, how do we take shelter of the Lord? By chanting His holy names. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any situation which you call it as a calamity, and at that time, if you can remember the Lord and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, let me tell you, you are successful. Every time I say this, every calamity, every crisis is an opportunity to get closer to the Lord. And that crisis will be a successful crisis if we remember the Lord at that time and take a shelter by chanting the holy names. Heavy rains in Vrindavan. And everyone there in Vrindavan, they don't know what next to do. And all of them, they called out, प्रसाद खिला के प्रोग्राम चालू करना चाहिए. What did they chant? Krishna, Krishna. And when Krishna was called out, our Lord, He ran in front of everyone. He ran towards Govardhan. Such a mesmerizing thing. He ran towards Govardhan. And what happened at that time when he ran towards Govardhan? Everyone was looking at him. I went close to Govardhan. He went at a spot where he went underneath and lifted the Govardhan at one point, standing on the stone. He lifted Govardhan with his left hand, little finger. And when he lifted that, everyone was wondering what's happening to the entire mountain. How come it is floating in the air? And then everyone was saying, our Kanha is there below this. And then Krishna called everyone. All Vrajawasis, come under the Govardhan mountain. Govardhan will protect us. Just imagine if we were there in that place. Just think about it. Hypothetical situation. Say we were there in that place and say Lord is calling us, come under the mountain. I'm sure we would have thought twice, like I think 10 times. अभी छोटे बच्चे ने उठाया है, अगर छोड़ दिया, better outside at least there is some chances of surviving if the rain stops. Just imagine you go under the mountain just falls on you. I think our bodies will also not be found. But when Krishna called, all of them, all the Vrajawasis, without second thought, they just entered below Govardhan mountain. Now see, one thing you have to understand here. When Krishna lifted Govardhan, it's not like all the snakes and scorpions were around and it's all dirty and things like that. And Krishna lifted Govardhan and all the Vrajawasis came under Govardhan. It was so blissful. The entire setup was so amazing. After all, Krishna is there in the center. In Vrindavan, there was a problem, What was the problem? Every time, there will be a group of people who will not be satisfied. Like, in the morning time, when Krishna would go to graze the cows, at that time, his friends will be very happy. Because all of them are going together. But Maiya Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj will not be happy. Ghar chodkar ja raha, he is going for grazing the cows. The other gopis would not be happy. And now, after grazing the cows, when they come back in the evening, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda is very happy, the gopis are happy, and the friends are not happy. So like this, every day this will be the case. One group will not be happy. But this was the time when everyone entered under Govardhan. It's very fascinating to think, under Govardhan. Everyone was amazed and everyone was just looking at Krishna. Now, aisa nahi tha ki, he's struggling to lift the Govardhan like that at last photo, and then he's sweating. No. Very nicely, with left hand he lifted, with little finger, Govardhan at the top. Now the question comes, why left hand? Right hand se bhi utha sakte the? Krishna wanted to tell all the Vrajawasis that tension matlab baya haath ka khel hai. Lifted. Not much, no tension. And now when everyone entered that place, Krishna is lifting the Govardhan, he's standing very beautifully. Everyone is just gazing at Krishna. Now no one can say anything. Abhi option hi nahi hai kisi ke paas. Only Krishna is there in center. Everyone is looking at Krishna. Gopas are looking at Krishna. Gopis are looking at Krishna. Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Rohini Maiya. Everyone is looking at Krishna. And at that time, Krishna, in that pose, he removed his flute and he started playing the flute. I don't know what it means to hear Krishna's flute, to be very frank. But we hear from, or we read from Shastra, that when Krishna plays his flute, animate becomes inanimate and inanimate becomes animate. Jamuna stops flowing and stones starts flowing. When Krishna started playing his flute, entire atmosphere was so blissful. Now see, blissful होने like कुछ situation था नहीं. There are heavy rain. आप लोग भी भूल गए ना, heavy rain outside. Just imagine Vrajawasis there. Why will they remember? Heavy rains outside, torrential rain, and it's all storm everywhere. And here under the mountain, all of them are blissful, looking at Krishna. Krishna is playing flute. Gopas are looking at Krishna. Gopis are looking at Krishna. Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, they are looking at Krishna. And just relishing that entire scene. One thing is very clear. That connection, when it is established with the Lord, automatically person becomes blissful. Many times we blame people around. Uske wajah se main khush nahi. But because of that person, I'm not happy. That person has created problem in my life. Arey aisa kuch nahi hai. You know what? Unfortunately, that relation which we have with the Lord, somehow we have broken it. And since that relation is broken from our side, the problem is we are not satisfied, we are not happy, we are not blissful. Kuch to milta rehta hai happiness yahan wahan. I guess Diwali parties mein mila hoga yahan wahan something. Yes. But then it's not permanent again. It's not permanent again because bliss lies in the spiritual platform and not on the material platform. And what do you mean by spiritual platform? Connection with the Lord. That's what is the spiritual platform. And all of us, we are connected to the Lord in the sense, the way Krishna describes all of us in 15th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, 7th shloka. He says, Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhota sanatana manasasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. He's telling, oh Arjun, every living entity is my part and parcel. They're all connected to me. But as of now, temporarily, that connection has been lost. And if we can just somehow revive that connection, the same bliss what the Vrajawasis were feeling under the mountain, in that critical situation, the critical situations externally, same bliss we will also feel. Now, how to connect with the Lord? Again, a very beautiful shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, shloka number 6. Please repeat. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje. If someone does render service to the Lord, adhokshaja, Lord Shri Krishna. But there are two words, how to render service, that is also important. Ahituki and apratihata. What are the words? Ahituki and apratihata. Ahituki means unmotivated. Sometimes the next generation, all your kids, next generation basically, they're not able to connect with this fact that you have to go to a temple and then you stand in front of the Lord and then you have to ask for something. It's very difficult for them to connect. Why should I ask? And it's a fact also when we go in front of the Lord. Many of the times, we just end up with a big list. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. But actual service that is rendered to the Lord is ahituki, unmotivated. If someone asks you, आज मंदिर गए थे क्या मांगे? And you say that कुछ भी नहीं मांगे, unmotivated. You know what people will say? Mad or what? मंदिर गए और कुछ मांगे नहीं? व्रत किया और कुछ मांगे नहीं? This is what is the mentality that is set up now in this world. You have to ask for something, but actually when the service is done unmotivated, without any expectation from the Lord. And second word, apratihata, without any interruption in the service. So many times it happens that in some critical situations of life, we give a pause. We say, I want to take a pause from all this bhakti, shakti and all that. Let me just take a pause. That interruption is something which is not entertained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam makes it very clear. Apratihata, no question of interruption. So the service is rendered to the Lord with these two words, unmotivated and uninterrupted. Ahituki and apratihata. At that time, yayatma suprasidati. Such a person will be completely satisfied because his connection is established with the Lord. To establish that connection, the service has to be like this. Very, very important. And therefore, it's a very important thing to note. In this age of Kali, if there is some service that we all can render, we all can do, is chanting the holy names of the Lord. So wonderfully it is described in the Shastra that in the age of Kali, actually we cannot do anything except chanting the holy names. And just by chanting the holy names, unmotivated, uninterrupted mode, the connection gets established with the Lord. A very beautiful Vaishnava bhajan called as Kevala Ashtakam. It goes like this. Madhuram madhurebhyopi mangalebhyopi mangalam pavanam pavanebhyopi hare namaiva kevalam. Now when we're chanting the holy names, when we're rendering that service to the Lord, how is the service? Madhuram, madhuram. Sweet. Madhuram means sweet. But it says madhuram, madhuram. Very sweet. And the next, pavanam, pavanam. So when you chant the holy name, what happens? What happens? The person becomes purified. Madhuram, madhure, bhyopi, mangale, bhyopi, mangalam. And all auspiciousness comes into picture in that person's life. Therefore, we always say when it comes to chanting the holy names, it's not something which is monotonous and boring. There is something which has got life in it when it is done properly and when it is rendered with two things, two words. Ahituki, apratihata, unmotivated and uninterrupted. Somehow we have to establish that connection. Look at these Vrajawasis. Under the Govardhan mountain, in that critical situation, but since that connection is established, they're all blissful under the mountain, looking at the Lord, gazing at the Lord, and celebrating a different celebration under the mountain altogether. So in this way, we understand somehow that Lord's connection has to be revived. So this is the second lesson which I would like to tell here. Actual bliss is on the spiritual platform. Connect with the right password, and that is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and feel that complete satisfaction and bliss which Vrajawasis experienced under the Govardhan mountain. Let's revise the first two lessons. When it was heavily raining, when Indra started showering the rains, all the Vrajawasis, what did they do? अभी थोड़ा दम आ गया. So we said there that one should take shelter of the permanent personality in life. First lesson. And then hearing that, Krishna lifted Govardhan. And everyone was called under Govardhan. And then everyone was not morose. Everyone was blissful. And the second lesson that was there for all of us is that we can be blissful and completely satisfied only when we connect with the Lord. There is no other way. And the two words which we spoke, Ahituki, apratihata, unmotivated and uninterrupted service to the Lord connects us to the Lord. Now Krishna has lifted Govardhan, he is standing, everyone is gazing at him. Now, what happened is, with time, different personalities had different feelings towards the Lord. There's something called a spiritual anxiety that creeped in the minds of people there. All the Gopas, they started thinking, all his friends, Krishna's friends, hey, look at Krishna, he's holding Govardhan for such a long time. So many days have passed. We all should help him. And you know what everyone did? They all removed their sticks and started holding with the stick. Can you imagine that? Yes. This is called as blind love towards the Lord. They held the stick. And in fact, they said also, Krishna abhi chhod de thodi der ke liye. All of them. This was the anxiety of the Gopas. They were thinking Krishna might be tired, we should help him. Now let's talk about the anxiety of the elderly gopis headed by Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda, every single day, she would feed Krishna 8 times. 8 times every single day. And now when Krishna is standing here, 7 days, 7 nights, Mother Yashoda's tension is, look at my son, he has not eaten anything. He is becoming lean, thin. That is Mother Yashoda's anxiety. So every person present there, they had their own spiritual anxieties and they forgot about the material anxieties of their life. The internals which gave the anxiety, thirst and hunger, there's no food by the way under the Govardhan mountain. They forgot about that anxiety because of the internals. They forgot about the anxiety because of the externals. There are heavy rains. No one is thinking about what happened to my house, what happened to my property, the possessions in the house, nothing. Therefore, this is the third thing that we have to learn, third lesson or the last lesson for today. If you have spiritual anxiety, that removes the material anxiety in life. All of us will have various internals which will give us anxiety. Sometimes very stupid things also give us anxieties, internal. I went to that place. She didn't look at me. He didn't look at me also. He didn't greet. And you know what? Sometimes people keep this anxiety because of this some small thing. Sometimes for hours, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for years also. What is that? I went to that place, I was not treated properly. And what is that not treated properly? बात ही नहीं की. बुलाएं क्यों अगर बात नहीं करना हो तो? You see? And externals which we have no control at all of. Just think about it. So many externals around, which will keep changing every now and then. You might lose something happens to someone who is very dear to us. Those are externals which give us anxiety. मतलब anxiety तो रहेगा ही. Material anxieties are part of the material world because we are in the material world, in the material body. तो बनता है material anxiety. But you know what? But when you have a spiritual anxiety, these material anxieties are replaced. They are removed completely. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, old man, 70-year-old. I'm sure all the seniors who are sitting here, who are experienced in life, have crossed decades in this particular world. You can talk about this. What do you mean by 70 years old and how does it feel? Well, people who are young, आजकल young का definition भी पता नहीं क्या है. Sometimes people say, I'm young, I'm just 50. अरे मरने का time आ गया 50. I'm young, I'm just 50. Someone was sharing with me that, Prabhuji, I'm just 50. I said, become intense in a devotional service. Prabhuji, अभी तो time है enjoyment का. Now just we have settled. Really? Anyways, coming to this point, Srila Prabhupada, with such bodily ailments, 70-year-old man, with two heart attacks on the Jaladuta ship, he goes to West. And there, when he goes there, ऐसा नहीं था कि बहुत पैसे थे उनके पास, lot of money, lot of people, lot of followers, nothing. But when he went there, he had a spiritual anxiety. You know what was a spiritual anxiety? I want to give this message to all these people. They're struggling, they're suffering. This message of Gita will solace, give the solace. This message of Gita will satisfy them. And he struggled. One of the things that gives me inspiration in my day-to-day practice of spirituality is Srila Prabhupada's life. He struggled so much. And in that struggle, having that spiritual anxiety, you know what? He forgot about all the material anxieties. All the bodily pains that he had. He would hardly sleep. Food. What just something, if it comes, then he'll have it. Shelter was changing. He had no permanent house as such. And that entire thing, Srila Prabhupada forgot. He forgot his material anxieties because it was replaced by the spiritual anxiety. Therefore, I always say, those people who are blessed with a spiritual anxiety, they are the ones who are free from material anxieties. And you know what? One of the spiritual anxiety that all of us should have, I've got a human form and I need to perfect this human form by breaking the cycle of birth and death. There's a beautiful shloka which comes in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which talks about every Indian should have 2 spiritual anxieties. I felt very nice. So Indians के लिए special anxiety दिया गया है. भारत भूमि ते मनुष्य हैल जन्मजार जन्म सार्थक करी कर परोपकार. It is said anyone who has taken birth in India. I hope everyone has taken birth in India. Everyone. Even if not, you're in India now. 2 anxieties all of us should have. 1, I need to perfect my life. Janma sarthaka kari. I need to perfect my life. And second, I have to help others to perfect their life. Kara paropakar. And anyone who has these 2 anxieties, spiritual anxieties, you will see those people will be free from material anxieties. And therefore, every single human being who is blessed, like all of us sitting here, should have the spiritual anxiety that yes, I should make maximum utilization of this body to perfect my human form and help others to perfect their human forms. And this is what we learn. Spiritual anxieties will replace or remove the material anxieties. And everyone there with full spiritual anxiety, oh Krishna, maybe your hand is paining, I'll put this thing. Krishna, you're fasting for the last 7 days, 7 nights. Arey Baba, you people are also fasting. No. Everyone there was fasting for 7 days, 7 nights. They forgot everything. Finally, that Indra was showering rains. He got tired. Kuch ho hi nahi raha tha. And there were reports going. Everyone under Govardhan is extremely happy. With their respective spiritual anxieties, looking at Krishna, gazing at Krishna's beautiful face, everyone was happy. And then Indra finally realized, looks like he's my master, not an ordinary boy. The rain stopped, the sun rose, everything around got dried up. And then Krishna, look, hear this carefully. Then Krishna told everyone standing there, rains have stopped. Chaliye apne apne ghar pe jaiye sab. And no one was interested to go out of that place. No one was interested. And even when they were forced to go out of that place, you know how they were going? Krishna is standing here and they're looking at Krishna and slowly they're walking behind. The time that took to everyone to enter that place was very short. And the time that took for the Vrajawasis to come out of Govardhan, long time they took because they were gazing at Krishna's beautiful face. And then finally Krishna keeps Govardhan down. He also comes out. And there was another celebration after that. Everyone was happy. There were people embracing him. There were people blessing him. And everyone was glorifying him. And look at the love of all these Vrajawasis. They were not thinking he is God. The friends were thinking, you know why Krishna picked up Govardhan? They're talking to each other. Because he's my friend. And then all the elders who were there, they were thinking that Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. In past lives, they have performed a lot of pious activities. So this boy was blessed, and today, see, the small boy picked up Govardhan. No one was able to believe that is Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one. This is their love for Krishna. So these are the three important lessons which we can take for our day-to-day life from this entire pastime. When Indra started showering his rains, all the Vrajawasis took the permanent shelter. So we have to take permanent shelter in our life. And when all of them entered Govardhan, second thing that we learn from that is we can be completely satisfied and blissful in our life only when we connect with the Lord the way the Vrajawasis connected under that mountain in the critical situation. And the third thing that we learn today is dash anxieties removes dash anxieties. Spiritual anxieties removes. Thank you very much. It's really blissful to be here as always. And I'm sure meditating on this Govardhan pastime and meditating on these three lessons, implementing that in our day-to-day life. By the way, spiritual anxiety bholna mat do hai. Perfect your life and help others to perfect their life. Our entire life will be blissful. And you know what? When we leave our body, we can just smile and just leave the body. That's perfection. That's perfection. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Govardhan Leela ki.